No, we've got Chase Bryce run the wing tee in high school, so he's done a great job. He's done a really good job. He's got a very good understanding of all that. So green beans is on the shelf.
So Jimmy Green Bean's not athletic enough to do what you need to do?
Yeah, that's probably right.
But
Yep.
you're clearly not pleased with the defense's effort at Syracuse.
Oh, I thought we flushed that.
Did you get the response
Yeah.
that you wanted to see at practice from them?
Yeah, it's been good. We've had a good week of practice since we played last. So working on things we didn't do well in that game.
What types of struggles were there at Syracuse? Was it more mental, execution, technique, physicality?
A little bit of both. We let a seam route go for explosive play there in the third series for a 66-yard touchdown, and a couple other small things. They were hot and took advantage of us, took advantage of the mistakes we made, and we didn't do a good job out from the get-go though. Just fitting the run, basic plays that we worked all week. Didn't have the kind of discipline with the physical toughness that it takes to go on the road and win, play good defense. So that was really from the onset. So.
Against Georgia Tech again this season. What's different about this year's Georgia Tech version of the Paul Johnson offense versus the first 3 years you've been here and faced them?
Well, I think they're probably running it a little bit more than they have in the past, and obviously they've been a run-heavy team, and they're closer to 90-10 than they are to 80-20, and which I think they would like to be around 80-20. So, but I think the be-back is just been terrific all year for them. Excellent player. He kind of really makes them go, and the quarterback has really made great decisions, shows good instincts in his decision making, and his patience and poise is really outstanding for a young player. So the line's more mature, the receivers are more mature, and it's been a group that's kind of grown up in their system the last couple of years.
How do you coach that 10%?
How do you coach it? I mean, every down's run for these guys, and it's got to be your mindset, and then you got to do a good job on their play action passes. You get a lot of one-on-one shots, but it's no different than if it was 80-20. Really, to be honest with you, and we got to do a good job of playing disciplined and playing physically tough, and being very sound in what we're doing with all the variety of runs and types of options that you're going to get. And then again, where they're trying to sneak guys past you or throw the ball over the top. It's a lot of stress, for everybody.
How much does Paul Johnson change things within the framework of that offense year to year, or even within a game?
Oh, probably a little bit, within the game, and a little bit, from year to year. Their philosophy certainly hasn't changed, but I think he's very smart in trying to manipulate, the defense and create leverage and angles that are, advantageous for them, and then they do a really good job of getting their guys to play, competitively really hard, and they're very patient with what they do as well, but if they sense a weakness, whether it's an alignment structurally or certainly a player, they're going to attack you until you bleed to death. And you got to have a lot of respect. Just they're going on some long play sheet, and you got to get to all my plays, even though that one went for 40. Too many coordinators, I think, got to get to all their calls, and they forget to come back to the good ones because they got to get to all the other ones. And trust me, they've got a ton of variety, and they've got answers. It's not like they're running 3 plays, but they do a great job of tasting blood and going after it.
Coach, Georgia Tech's average rushing yards against since you got to Clemson has been going down since you got here. How much of that is personnel, and how much of that is just you being comfortable coaching against the triple?
I don't know. I wasn't aware, of that. You just really kind of go from one year to the next, and every year's different. And their players are different, and our players are different. And I think that has a big part of it too. You know, some years we've had the advantage, you know, at certain positions from a matchup standpoint, and that always makes a big difference too. It's not always your schemes. I think, you know, schemes are a starting point, but ultimately the players got to go out and execute and play with leverage and stay on their feet and play physically tough and finish for 60 minutes. Again, I think where they do a great job when games are close, they start wearing people out late in the third and in the fourth quarters, doing the same things they've been doing, because players get lazy-minded, they physically get lazy, and they're not as desperate and fanatical about doing their job and squeezing, and they start trying to do too much, and then it's like, where do you're going to run out of fingers and toes of all the holes that you're going to open up, and that's what happens. You see them in late in games, and so. Georgia Tech, I'd seen the triple option from a few different people, but it's really good. You know, it's just game planning from week to week. You know, this week it's the triple option, this week it's the spread, this week it's 3 tights, 2 backs. There's some different teaching for sure, fundamentally, philosophically, and I think planning ahead is probably important. And then from year to year, when you have a lot of carryover from you know, your personnel and your staff, I think that really helps, because you're able to kind of get to the shortcuts quickly, as opposed to helping guys try to figure it out, and where they got to, you know, get a ton of reps. You always got to get a ton of reps, but when you have veteran players, that always helps as well.
Trey Lamar played a little bit in Atlanta last year at one tackle. How comfortable are you with his readiness to face this offense?
Yeah, Trey will be ready. Trey's had a good few days, and you know, Trey will be a big part of what we're doing.
One more. Just playing a team like Georgia Tech wants to run the clock. Does it put a premium on third down defense?
I think that's real important. I think they're at their best when they get to 3rd and 1, and we're at our best when it's 3rd and 20. So it's really important. 3rd downs are incredibly important. If they're able to stay on the field and possess the football, you know, it's the same thing. They're going to make you bleed to death, and it doesn't allow your offense to get in rhythm, and we're in rhythm as a team. And I think, you know, getting stops against these guys, you know, possessions are already going to be limited, so I think getting stops against Georgia Tech is almost, to a certain degree, like getting a turnover. And so that's kind of how we look at it. But 3rd downs are a huge part of that. Huge.
Thank you, Coach.